Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that you are holding the most powerful weapon in the world. A weapon that cannot be stolen, broken, or taken away. A weapon that can create success, overcome obstacles, and change the course of your life. That weapon is not a sword, it is not a machine, and it is not money. That weapon, the most powerful tool you will ever possess, is your mind. Your mind is not just a part of you, it is the very essence that defines who you are and what you can achieve. Every thought you have, every decision you make, and every action you take begins in the mind. It is the invisible force behind every success story and the silent engine behind every failure. Understanding this truth is the first step toward mastering your life. Your mind is extraordinary because it has the ability to shape your reality. The way you think determines the way you live. If you believe that you are capable, your actions will reflect that belief, and opportunities will present themselves in ways you might not even expect. If, however, your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, it will create a barrier that stops you from moving forward. Think about the times in your life when you have doubted yourself. How often did that doubt prevent you from taking action, from speaking up, or from trying something new? That is the power of the mind at work. It does not matter how talented you are, how strong you are, or how skilled you are. If your mind is not aligned with your goals, it can sabotage everything before it even begins. The mind is also the decision maker of your life. Every choice you make, from the simplest daily decisions to the most life-altering ones, is filtered through your mind. It is your mind that evaluates options, analyzes risks, and imagines potential outcomes. Yet, so often, we underestimate its power. We allow external circumstances, other people's opinions, or fleeting emotions to dictate our choices instead of training our minds to think clearly and strategically. The most successful individuals in history, leaders, innovators, and pioneers, understood that their mind was their greatest asset. They cultivated it, disciplined it, and used it intentionally to navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and create remarkable outcomes. They knew that a weak or distracted mind would lead to wasted potential, while a focused and empowered mind could overcome the most impossible obstacles. But what makes the mind truly remarkable is its ability to shape outcomes. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture will grow. If you plant seeds of positivity, determination, and resilience, they will flourish and produce results in your life. If you plant seeds of negativity, self-doubt, and fear, they will grow as well, creating barriers and limitations that seem insurmountable. This is why mental discipline is so important. The thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you hold, and the habits you cultivate inside your mind directly influence the outcomes you experience outside. It is not magic, and it is not luck. It is cause and effect. Your mind creates the foundation upon which your reality is built. Every great invention, every breakthrough, every success story began in the mind. Thomas Edison did not simply stumble upon the electric light bulb. He imagined it, believed in it, and persisted through thousands of failed attempts until his vision became reality. Oprah Winfrey did not become a global icon by chance. She used the power of her mind to overcome poverty, discrimination, and countless obstacles to create a life of influence and impact. Elon Musk did not revolutionize transportation and space exploration by following the crowd. He envisioned possibilities that others could not see and used his mind to turn them into reality. These individuals understood that the mind is not just a passive organ, it is an active weapon capable of transforming thoughts into tangible results. Your mind also has the power to influence your perception of the world. Two people can experience the exact same situation and react completely differently. One may see failure, rejection, or setback, while the other sees opportunity, lesson, and growth. Why? Because the mind filters reality based on beliefs, expectations, and mental conditioning. By training your mind to see possibilities instead of problems, to focus on solutions instead of excuses, and to embrace challenges instead of fearing them, you can change not only your actions but your entire life experience. The world may not change, but your perception of it can. Your mind gives you the power to turn adversity into advantage and obstacles into stepping stones. Finally, it is important to remember that your mind is the only weapon you will carry with you everywhere. It cannot be taken away. No one can steal your thoughts, your imagination, or your ability to reason. While circumstances may change, external resources may disappear, and people may come and go, your mind remains with you, ready to be used as a weapon of creation, innovation, and resilience. Every challenge you face can be met with the strength of your mind. Every dream you aspire to can be realized through the power of your mind. Every limitation you perceive can be broken with the clarity and focus of your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the mind is not just a tool, it is your greatest weapon. It shapes your reality, guides your decisions, and determines your outcomes. The question is not whether your mind is powerful, it is, but whether you are using it to its full potential. Are you feeding it with thoughts that empower you, or are you allowing doubt and negativity to control it? Are you training it to overcome obstacles, or are you letting fear and complacency dictate your life? The future, your success, and the life you dream of achieving begin not in the world around you, but within the world inside your mind. Nurture it, strengthen it, and wield it with purpose, because your mind is the ultimate weapon that will define not only what you accomplish, but who you become. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every path you follow begins with a single spark inside your mind. A thought. Thoughts are the seeds of action, the blueprint of your destiny, and the invisible forces that shape the life you live. What we often fail to realize is that our thoughts are far more than passing ideas or fleeting feelings. They are the architects of our reality. Positive thoughts have the power to move mountains, while negative thoughts see and create walls that seem impossible to break. If you want to achieve success, happiness, and fulfillment, you must first understand the power of your own thinking and learn to harness it intentionally. Positive thinking is not just a motivational phrase, it is a mindset that determines how you approach every challenge and opportunity in your life. When your mind is filled with hope, optimism, and confidence, your actions naturally follow suit. You take risks, try new strategies, and persevere when others give up. Positive thinking transforms obstacles into stepping stones and problems into opportunities for growth. Consider the countless examples of people who achieved greatness against all odds. They were not necessarily the most talented, the richest, or the most fortunate. What set them apart was the way they thought. Their minds were trained to see possibilities, to expect success, and to believe that setbacks were temporary and solvable. That mindset translated into actions that were consistent, bold, and unwavering. On the other hand, negative thinking can silently destroy your potential before it has a chance to flourish. When your mind is clouded with doubt, fear, and pessimism, you limit yourself. You may avoid opportunities, procrastinate, or make decisions that are safe but uninspiring. Negative thoughts are like anchors, holding you back from the person you are capable of becoming. They distort your perception of reality, exaggerate obstacles, and convince you that failure is inevitable. The irony is that these thoughts are entirely within your control. You do not have to accept them as truth. By recognizing and challenging negative thinking, you can free ourselves from its grip and create a mindset that supports growth, achievement, and resilience. It is important to understand that thoughts are not just mental experiences. They directly influence behavior. Every action begins with a thought. Before you speak, before you move, before you act, your mind has already created the pattern. If you think you cannot succeed, your actions will reflect hesitation, avoidance, and lack of effort. If you think you can succeed, your actions will be decisive, focused, and persistent. Your thoughts are the invisible engine behind everything you do, and the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your actions. Success is not an accident. It is the result of deliberate thinking that leads to deliberate action. The power of positive thinking is also closely tied to your ability to overcome challenges. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and unexpected difficulties. Everyone experiences failure at some point, but the difference between those who rise and those who remain defeated is the way they think. Positive thinking allows you to approach challenges with a problem-solving mindset. It gives you the courage to persist when the situation seems hopeless, and the creativity to find solutions others cannot see. Negative thinking, however, magnifies problems and makes them seem insurmountable. It convinces you that there is no way forward, and often that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. By mastering your thoughts, you gain control over your reactions, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. One of the most powerful tools for shaping your thoughts is self-awareness. By observing your mind and recognizing the patterns, thinking that dominate your life, you can take control of which thoughts you nurture and which ones you discard? Are your thoughts focused on possibility, growth, and solution, or are they trapped in fear, doubt, and limitation? Awareness is the first step toward change. Once you are aware of the thoughts that hold you back, you can replace them with empowering beliefs, affirmations, and perspectives. You can train your mind to see opportunities where others see problems, to take action where others hesitate, and to maintain resilience when others falter. Another crucial aspect of controlling your thoughts is surrounding yourself with the right influences. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environments you inhabit all shape your thinking. Positive influences nurture optimism, creativity, and determination, while negative influences can reinforce fear, self-doubt, and complacency. By deliberately choosing what you expose your mind to, you create a fertile ground for thoughts that lead to progress. Just as a gardener removes weeds to allow flowers to grow, you must remove negative thinking patterns to allow positive, productive thoughts to flourish. Visualization is also a powerful technique for harnessing the mind. When you clearly picture your goals, imagine success, and mentally rehearse the actions required, you program your mind to act in alignment with your vision. Positive visualization strengthens belief, motivates action, and builds confidence. The mind cannot easily distinguish between vivid imagination and reality, so by training it to focus on success, you set yourself up to act in ways that bring those imagined scenarios into reality. Conversely, if your imagination is dominated by fear, doubt, or failure, your mind will unconsciously create barriers to prevent those imagined negative outcomes. The choice, therefore, is yours. What you think about most becomes your reality. Ladies and gentlemen, your thoughts are the invisible architects of your life. They shape your decisions, guide your actions, and ultimately determine the outcomes you achieve. Positive thinking is not a vague concept. It is a practical and powerful tool that propels you toward progress, resilience, and achievement. Negative thinking is equally real in its power, but its effect is destructive rather than constructive. The good news is that the mind can be trained. By cultivating awareness, surrounding yourself with positive influences, practicing visualization, and deliberately choosing empowering thoughts, you can transform the quality of your actions, and in turn, the quality of your life. Every great achievement, every success, and every breakthrough starts with a thought that believes, a thought that perseveres, and a thought that refuses to give up. Every one of us has faced moments in life where fear, doubt, and adversity seem overwhelming. These moments can feel like insurmountable walls, stopping us from achieving our dreams, pursuing our goals, or even believing in ourselves. But what separates those who overcome these challenges from those who are defeated is not luck, talent, or external circumstances. It is the strength of the mind. Mental discipline and focus are the keys that unlock resilience, courage, and achievement. A strong mind is like a fortress. It can withstand storms, endure trials, and turn obstacles into opportunities. The question is whether you are willing to train your mind and cultivate the discipline necessary to wield this incredible power. Mental discipline begins with control over your thoughts. A mind without discipline is like a wild horse, full of energy but directionless, easily swayed by fear, distraction, and doubt. When your mind lacks control, it reacts impulsively, allows emotions to dominate, and often leads you to give up before the challenge is even faced. But when you develop mental discipline, you gain the ability to direct your thoughts toward solutions instead of problems, to focus on action instead of hesitation, and to respond with strength instead of fear. Discipline allows you to choose your mindset, to consciously decide how to approach every situation, and to remain steady in the face of adversity. Focus is another vital component of a strong mind. In a world filled with distractions, temptations, and competing priorities, the ability to concentrate on what truly matters is a rare and powerful skill. Focus is what allows a person to pursue their goals relentlessly, to dedicate time and energy to mastering their craft, and to make consistent progress even when circumstances are difficult. Without focus, effort is scattered, energy is wasted, and potential remains untapped. The mind, when trained to focus, becomes a powerful weapon that can cut through obstacles and produce results far beyond what is possible through talent alone. Focus turns intentions into actions, actions into habits, and habits into achievements. Fear and doubt are natural enemies of progress, but a disciplined mind can overcome them. Fear convinces us to avoid challenges, to stay in comfort zones, and to settle for mediocrity. Doubt makes us question our abilities, second-guess our decisions, and hesitate when action is needed. These forces are powerful, but they are not invincible. Mental discipline is the training that allows us to recognize fear without surrendering to it, to acknowledge doubt without being paralyzed by it, and to continue forward despite uncertainty. It is the inner strength that tells you to take one more step, to try one more time, and to believe in yourself even when circumstances seem impossible. Those who have achieved greatness did not do so because they were fearless. They did so because they had the mental discipline to act in spite of fear. Adversity is another test of the mind's strength. Life will inevitably present challenges, loss, failure, rejection, and hardship. The difference between those who rise and those who fall is the way they respond. A strong mind does not see adversity as a reason to quit, it sees it as a reason to grow. Every challenge is an opportunity to train your mental strength, to practice resilience, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. Mental discipline and focus allow you to maintain perspective during difficult times, to analyze problems with clarity, and to take purposeful steps toward overcoming obstacles. Adversity becomes less of a barrier and more of a stepping stone when approached with a disciplined mind. Developing mental discipline requires consistent effort. It is not something that happens overnight. It is cultivated through daily habits, conscious choices, and persistent practice. This can include setting clear goals, maintaining a structured routine, controlling impulses, practicing mindfulness, and deliberately training your mind to think in constructive ways. Each small act of discipline builds strength over time, making your mind resilient and adaptable. Focused effort is like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your mind becomes, and the more capable you are of handling challenges that once seemed impossible. A disciplined and focused mind also allows you to take control of your emotional responses. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will often trigger fear, frustration, or anger. Without mental discipline, these emotions can dominate your actions, leading to poor decisions and unnecessary setbacks. But a trained mind recognizes these emotions, evaluates them, and chooses how to respond. It can turn anger into motivation, fear into preparation, and frustration into determination. By mastering your mind, you no longer react passively to circumstances. You actively shape your responses and take control of the outcomes in your life. History is full of examples of individuals who exemplified mental discipline and focus. From leaders who guided nations through crises, to athletes who achieved greatness through relentless practice, to innovators who persevered despite repeated failures. The common thread is not talent or luck, it is mental strength. These individuals faced fear, doubt, and adversity, just like the rest of us. The difference is that they trained their minds to remain focused, disciplined, and resilient. They understood that their thoughts, actions, and habits were interconnected, and that cultivating mental strength was the ultimate tool for achieving success. The human mind is a powerful instrument, but its true potential is unlocked not merely through natural talent or raw energy, but through knowledge, continuous learning, and critical thinking. These are the tools that allow us to transform challenges into opportunities, obstacles into stepping stones, and uncertainty into clarity. A mind without knowledge is like a ship without a compass. It may move, but it is directionless. A mind that is committed to learning, however, becomes a weapon capable of navigating any storm, solving complex problems, and creating extraordinary outcomes. Every success, every innovation, and every breakthrough begins with the conscious decision to expand the mind and to use knowledge strategically. Learning is the foundation of a powerful mind. Knowledge is not something we are born with, it is something we acquire, cultivate, and apply. Every lesson we learn, whether from books, experiences, mentors, or failures, adds to the strength of our mind. A person who stops learning limits themselves, their thinking, and their possibilities. But a person who seeks knowledge relentlessly opens doors that others cannot even see. Learning allows us to anticipate challenges, make informed decisions, and act with confidence. It gives clarity where there is confusion and direction where there is doubt. The mind that learns continuously does not fear complexity, it thrives in it. Critical thinking is the tool that transforms knowledge into wisdom. It is not enough to accumulate facts or information. We must be able to analyze, question, and interpret them. Critical thinking enables us to separate truth from illusion, opportunity from distraction, and solutions from problems. It allows us to see beyond the surface and understand the deeper principles at work. When faced with a challenge, a person who uses critical thinking does not panic or react impulsively. They assess the situation, weigh the options, and make decisions that lead to the best possible outcome. Knowledge without critical thinking is raw material, but combined with it, the mind becomes a formidable weapon capable of achieving remarkable results. One of the greatest benefits of knowledge and learning is their ability to turn adversity into opportunity. Life will inevitably present difficulties, failures, setbacks, and unexpected problems. But a mind that is equipped with knowledge and sharpened by learning can approach these obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as challenges to be solved. Knowledge provides the tools to analyze situations, recognize patterns, and identify solutions that others may overlook. Learning gives the perspective to adapt, evolve, and grow stronger in the face of difficulty. Together, they transform what might seem like a dead end into a pathway forward. Every challenge contains a lesson, every failure contains insight, and every difficulty contains opportunity, if your mind is prepared to recognize it. The pursuit of knowledge is also a pursuit of freedom. A mind that is informed, educated, and thoughtful is a mind that cannot be easily manipulated, misled, or constrained. Knowledge provides clarity, understanding, and perspective. It allows us to make decisions based on reason rather than impulse, to act with confidence rather than fear, and to create rather than simply react. Learning expands the boundaries of what is possible, challenges assumptions, and fosters innovation. Critical thinking ensures that our actions are deliberate, purposeful, and effective. When the mind is armed with these tools, it becomes a force capable of shaping reality rather than being shaped by it. Consider the power of individuals who exemplify the combination of knowledge, learning, and critical thinking. Scientists, leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators have used these tools to achieve what others thought impossible. They studied, questioned, and analyzed, using their minds as instruments to solve problems and create breakthroughs. Every invention, every policy, and every innovation begins in the mind of someone willing to learn, willing to question, and willing to think critically. These people did not allow challenges to deter them. They saw in every problem an opportunity to create, to grow, and to achieve. Their minds were not passive. They were active, engaged, and relentless in their pursuit of understanding. Knowledge also fosters resilience. When faced with failure, a mind that has been educated and trained through learning does not succumb to despair. It analyzes what went wrong, identifies lessons, and applies new strategies. It understands that mistakes are not the end, but the beginning of growth. Critical thinking ensures that failures are not repeated, that patterns are recognized, and that solutions are continuously refined. The mind becomes stronger, more adaptable, and more capable of achieving success in the long term. Knowledge and learning give the mind the tools to survive challenges, but critical thinking allows it to thrive despite them. The world today moves faster than ever, and challenges are becoming increasingly complex. Those who succeed are not merely those with natural talent or external resources. They are the ones who dedicate themselves to learning, who feed their minds with knowledge, and who cultivate the ability to think critically. These individuals are able to see opportunity where others see chaos, to create solutions where others see only problems, and to innovate where others remain stagnant. The mind, when trained in this way, is not limited by circumstance. It is empowered by understanding. Knowledge, learning, and critical thinking are not luxuries. They are necessities for anyone who wishes to wield the mind as the greatest weapon it can be. These tools give clarity in confusion, strength in adversity, and vision in uncertainty. They allow us to transform challenges into opportunities, to navigate complexity with confidence, and to achieve outcomes that would otherwise seem impossible. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every obstacle you face can be influenced and improved by the power of a mind dedicated to learning, enriched with knowledge, and sharpened by critical thinking. When you commit to this pursuit, you are not merely acquiring information. You are strengthening the most powerful weapon you will ever possess, and with it, You can shape your destiny, overcome any challenge, and create the life you desire.